Okay. Yeah, I will. And do this one? I will. So it's a different shirt? Oh, I wore this shirt recently. Oh my god. They're changing the policy now. This is ridiculous. So, what a bunch of bullshit. Oh my god, I hate this game. What a bad game. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Wow. There you go. There it is. Holy fucking shit. Oh my. Okay, we can do one more. New chat? Okay, okay, I'll do new chat. Please, please do it. Please just do one more. That's all I'm asking is one more. You need a better prompt. I don't know if that would work. Like, I have no idea if it does or not. The reason I can't generate memes or do images instead do a giveaway style is due to the updated policies that respect intellectual property rights. I think that they updated their policy so you can't do this anymore, honestly. That's probably what happened. At least that's what it seems like what happened. I can't imagine anything else going that way. Boring? Yes, very boring, exactly. What if the AI is watching your stream? Well, it probably could be, you know? They did, they said so. I'll be curious to see how long that lasts. Grok does it? Yeah, we just have to, all we have to do is wait for a Chinese AI, and they're not going to give a shit about it. So then it'll be it'll be no problem. That's only going to delay the inevitable. Yeah, it will. Grok does it shittily though. Yeah, exactly. Okay, it looks like it's working though, so it's fine. Use Miyazaki style? Yeah, sure. It's not necessarily recognizing, it's just image to imaging. So just upload the image and don't explain the AI what it is. Tell it to generate an image based off this other image. Oh, you know what? That probably would be a good idea. Yeah, I like the... Oh my god. It's actually working. They put Lara Croft on his shirt. Well, yeah, no, it's because it says Tomb Raider. No, it makes sense, doesn't it? No way it made Lara Croft hotter on his shirt? That's insane, right? Image created. Okay, let me refresh. Oh my god. Wow. What a fucking day. Getting the text right is insane. Yeah, it is. It's nuts. Inside the door? Yeah, it's even the person inside the door. Are they holding a cat? They are. Oh shit. Damn. Even the background? Yeah, I know. That's nuts, isn't it? Oh my god. I'm starting to get a headache, and I'm gonna have to take a break. I can tell that it's gonna keep getting worse. So I'm gonna have to call it a little bit earlier today and chill out for a bit. Thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope everybody had a good time today, and I will be back on tomorrow. All right, boys. Peace. See ya. Yasuke actually has a gay romance in Assassin's Creed Shadows with a character named Ibuki who identifies as non-binary, they, them. After some flirting, they kiss each other. Bro, it looks like he's high as fuck. Oh. This is the face you give. Like, I don't know how many times I've walked in, like, in high school, the class that you have after lunch, and your stoner friends walk in past you in the class with that fucking face. You know, like, absolutely, right? Is this real? Yeah, because when we were in school, this was like when Salvia was getting popular, and we had people doing this shit all the time. Yeah, great for the meme template. Yes, walking in. I know that stoner thing. Yes, exactly. And historically accurate, by the way. Yasuke has a relationship with Nobunaga's sister. I know, we're gonna get to that. So, Yasuke, apparently you can choose between, you can have a relationship with a non-binary person right here. And so I guess this is them. And I don't really know. It's a bit odd to me that every non-binary character that Western video games, like if I look at, can I get a list of non-binary characters in video games? Yeah, do we have a list of these? Because a lot of them just end up looking weird. Why is it that every character that has a has a non-normative sexuality is always caricatured in some kind of a way? Am I crazy for seeing this? Because like, isn't it at a certain point like all of these characters I don't think are visually appealing at all. None of these characters are attractive or visually appealing. Why is it that all of these characters that are not attractive or visually appealing are all non-binary? I feel like this is like if I was non-binary, I'd be like, what the fuck? Why is it every time that somebody puts me in a video game? What the fuck is this? Yes, true. Yeah, I'd be pissed off. People that I'm sure are non-binary that don't look weird. So, not in Assassin's Creed. In Assassin's Creed, Yusuke can choose to have Let's watch it. As someone Japanese, I've always wished a game studio would allow me to explore my ancient heritage as a gay black samurai. You know what's so funny? I can't wait to do that because I hate playing the girl. I just want to play the guy. I just want to play him, man. I do. I've been waiting on this for a long time, man. The girl plays better, to be honest? That's scary. Don't tell me that. Okay, let's go ahead and watch it. So this is one of the clips from the gay relationship.
I do not think I've ever seen you quite so tongue-tied.
Not yet, at least. I hope you aren't easily chilled. Do you think someone might see us?
Maybe.
Do you care?
Not at all.
That's the face. Am I wrong, though, that this is absolutely the face? This is absolutely the face that, like, your friends would give you in high school after they got high as fuck at lunch? 'Cause it absolutely is. That's the face, right? Yeah, and they're coming back to class? Yeah. Is that a girl or a boy? Yes. Oh, wow. Wow. We gotta make sure that we get this scene. I have to be, can you have multiple relationships or do you have to choose? Because, like, so apparently you either do this or, let me see if I can find the rest of it. This is what the even better part is. So, Yusuke, there are at least right now 2 known relationships that he can have in the story. The first one is, again, with the non-binary character, and the second one, get this, is with Oda Nobunaga's sister. Who was married? That's what people are saying. Oh my god. Isn't that why it's trash? Because it's not genuine? They're looking for a gotcha moment? Why look at the... I don't know. Let's see here. Did you know historically Nobunaga killed his sister's husband 2 times? He killed his sister's husband himself 2 times? I don't know. Why'd he kill her? No, why'd he kill him? Maybe it was... Maybe... Actually, I don't know. I mean, everything that I've ever read about Oda Nobunaga is the guy was just a massive fucking dickhead. Like, just everything about him was an asshole. And so, yeah, every time I've ever heard a story about him, it's a fucking asshole. So, but, you know, it's probably the same reason, right? Anyway, let's see here. So this is the cinematic from the relationship with Oda Nobunaga's sister. This was filmed on a Nokia phone. In the 1580s of Japan, they didn't have smartphones yet.
Here we are, alone at last. Yet I don't know what to say.
I do. Someone once said it like this. You are a daimyo's daughter. Now I'm just a samurai.
Just? Never just.
Let's, oh bro, now we must part. Let's enjoy the moment with the little heart with the arrow through it. Oh wow.
Lady Oichi, I have learned something in my battles. Time is a veil. Tomorrow is an illusion.
And all we have left is here and now.
Damn, so he fucks the shit out of her. Man. Damn, all right. That's crazy. Wow. By the way, Oichi Nobunaga's sister is known in Japan for her honor and faithfulness. Is that really? Wow, not anymore. Yeah, not anymore, boys. Oh man, that's fucking funny. And this is someone's fantasy? Is someone at Ubisoft? Maybe, right? Notice how we get a gay kiss, but not a straight kiss? Yeah, true. True, true, true. She's married twice. This is super fiction. Also said she was one of the most beautiful women in Japan at the time, so I doubt it even more. Japan is going to be thrilled when this piece of historical fiction talk about a middle finger to their culture. Lol, Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is just... I can't. Oh my god. Oh no, you think it's that girl? Oh wow. Desecration gets worse. Come on guys, I'm really surprised they added Yasuke going around cucking people in this game. His freaking main armor design is the bull design. It's the bull design. Yo, what the fuck is going on? I know, right? How do you do this? Oh my god. Japan racism against foreigners is justified? Yeah, I feel like with a lot of countries, racism isn't fair. But when people from Japan are racist, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because, you know, like, yeah. Oh, man. I turned his high face into an emote? That's perfect, man. Japan xenophobic justified? I guess so, right? Oh my fucking god. And Yasuke fucking both the daughter and the... Oh god, this is ridiculous, man. They could have just invented a new cousin to pair him off with, jeez. Yeah, you could have added, or it could have just been... It's not... Be a slave, fight one battle and lose your life. Sleeping with the daughter of the guy who's the savior of the... Yeah, exactly, right? Oh my god. And yeah, you can't make this shit up. I know, it's amazing.
And see into your heart.
Wait, this isn't. Wait, is this another gay one? Wait, how many gay?
Look into your
How
eyes.
gay is this guy? Oh my god. This is crazy. He's double gay. There's 11? Wait. Oh my god. How is everything getting worse? I can't wait to play this more today. This is gonna be fucking fun, man. This is gonna be so good. And so he's double gay. Yeah, he is. And so somebody posted this dialogue from an old Assassin's Creed game. I never have watched this, I never played it before, but I'll play it for you guys and we'll see if there's a bit of a difference between this and the new ones.
I have the piece of Eden. Get out of my way, old man. I gave you everything, and yet it's never enough.
Cesare! He intends to poison you!
You would not listen to reason.
Father, do you not see? I control all of this. If I want to live, I live. If I want to take, I take. If I want to die, where is the piece of Eden?
Stop! I know where it is!
And you did not tell me he had taken it?
Cesare, it's me, your queen.
You are my sister, nothing more. Where is it?
You never loved me?
Where is the apple? Tell me! Tell me!
Jesus. And so it went from that to...
Do you care?
Not at all.
Wow. Well, there it is, boys. Are the frogs gay? I don't know. Yeah, maybe even the frogs are gay in this game. I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, so we good. Yeah, I don't know how this happened. One's a work of fiction, the other work is a fantasy. Yeah, right. And anyway, so this has been going on now. People have been talking about this a lot. And I don't know really what's going to happen with this. I have no idea. But it seems like a lot of people from Japan are very unhappy about this. Let me see if I can pull it up and find it. And see if there's any more information. Let me go back. Japanese Prime... Oh, no. The Prime Minister of Japan commented on the game?
かもしれませんが、少なくともその国の文化とか宗教とかそういうものに対する尊敬の念を持つということは私は当然のことだと思っておりますし、そうでなければ外交というのもできないと思っております。まず我が国としてそういうことを率先垂範していかないといけない。仮にもそういう行為がそうですが。
So what the fuck is he saying? Let's go ahead and Prime Minister Ffxiv surprisingly responded to the Assassin's Creed Shadows issue. Representative Kata asked the question at the House of Councilors Budget Committee regarding the act of belittling other cultures in games and social media and resulting in tourism pollution. Tourism pollution. Oh my God, can you say it any better than that? Wow. Oh my fucking God. And we will not give up in silence. It's extremely important that we send out the message that as Japanese citizens, we will not tolerate this kind of behavior. And this is the Prime Minister of Japan, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. Oh my God, of how the shadow issues were discussed by Japan's that this is actually about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and because like this could also be about live streaming too. Showdown GameSpark covered the Prime Minister's response in the Diet, has more details. GameSpark also said that the game was revised so that temples and shrines could not be destroyed. Is this the only in the Japanese version? It's unclear. So, from the 20th, in the Diet over video destruction game, culture. Debated in Parliament. Oh my God. Well, YouTuber Show Like Honda. I know that guy, don't I? Yeah. Holy shit, dude. They've got the This shit is so bad, it's got the Japanese government involved. Yeah, no, I'll watch it, because, yeah, he's a Japanese guy, and he speaks American also, and so, yeah, he can explain it a lot better than fucking Google Translate can. So we will look at that. Just give me a few minutes, and I want to scroll down and look at some more of these. Summarizing the world of Western gaming in 3 images. Jesus Christ. Concord has arrived in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Wow. Non-binary did not exist in feudal Japan, but they forced it there for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. What a surprise. And this is nuts, man. Only one straight romance I've seen myself. Oh, and also, this isn't really a big surprise, but the female relationship in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let me see if I can just pull it up. Assassin's Creed romance. So yes, and so that you can also have the 2 girls making out as well, and it's not really a big surprise. Wait, there's more than one scene of this? It's a 40-minute video? Oh my God. Look at Ubisoft stock. Okay, let me look at it in a minute. Oh, this is another scene.
Lust is a journey of 1,000 steps that begins with a kiss.
They really went in on this one, huh? Man, look at the dialogue in this game is very, what's the way that I can explain the dialogue in this game? It could be better. Yeah, I would say, yeah, that's probably where I would go with, yeah, I'd say it could be better. This is another one?
Watch where you point that thing.
What's wrong, Igahime? Does my pitbull make you nervous?
I like it. Oh, wow.
No, I like dangerous weapons.
What about dangerous women?
Even better.
Wow. That's really impressive. That's really, really impressive. Oh my God. Yeah, garbage dialogue, not even trying to hide it. It's just the dialogue is just mediocre. Like, I don't care if they want to have a lesbian relationship. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. But, like, it's just, it's funny to see this kind of stuff happen, right? What is this here? I want more than friendship. You have lovely, oh my God. Wow. Oh, Jesus. That's amazing. Well, there it is, gentlemen. Assassin's Creed Shadows is, it's apparently... It's apparently so problematic that the Japanese Prime Minister has made a comment about it. Yes, that's where we're at. This is amazing. The stocks? Oh, right. Let me check the stocks right now. I'm so stupid. You guys can't see it. Look at that. Oh no. Oh no. Wow. It's gonna be a penny stock? Well, let's compare it to where it was at, right? And so are they cooked? Well, let's find out. So this is the 5-year. So it used to be $20 and now it's $2. So if you invested $100, you now have $10. If you invested $1,000, you now have $100. If you invested $10,000, you now have $1,000. That's right, that's the wrong stock. It doesn't matter. This stock is a representative sample of the European stock. If you look at the European stock, you'll see that the graph and the trend is the same, although the numbers are different. And so, yeah, it's a representative sample because it's 1/5 of the shares of the company. And so, minus 80% over 5 years, yes, minus 78.59%. This, in my opinion, is catastrophic. It is absolutely catastrophic. Let me explain why. This company, and also it was even higher in 2018. Look at that. The reason why it's so bad is because Assassin's Creed was supposed to be their ace in the hole. It was supposed to be their big game, and like, okay, we're gonna go and we're gonna release this game and it's gonna turn things around. Everybody's gonna buy the game, people are gonna like the game, etc., right? It's not out yet though. Yes, but here's the problem. Let me think of a way to say this. Do you think it's going to go up tomorrow? Oh, like the revenues are up. Yeah, tomorrow you have the news of the game. You know, like so investors are able to have a sentiment of the game, right? Is it a perfect game? But like, it is a like, do you really think that the stock wouldn't have gone up? Like, think about From Software, the moment that Elden Ring review embargo went away. I bet it started going up like this, right? Probably it did. And I would assume this is the case. This will probably be the case with Grand Theft Auto 6 as well, or any of these other games. So the idea that like, oh, well, the game doesn't release till tomorrow, so it's going to go up tomorrow, it won't. And also, even if it goes up a little bit, here's the problem, is that Assassin's Creed, in order to get the company out of the hole that it's in right now, like, have you guys ever played, like, D&D or whatever, and it's like you have to roll a 19 or a 20 in order to, like, I don't know, even hit a monster? Like, even to be able to hit the monster, you have to roll a 19 or a 20? Yeah, right? Basically, you have to roll a crit to even hit. Exactly. They had to roll a nat 19 or 20. And I think they rolled an 11. And some people, maybe they rolled a 9. That's not so good, is it? They needed to have a Valhalla was woke as fuck and that saved the company. Shadows is better. Valhalla was woke as fuck and it saved the company. I just think people, there's a lot more people that would rather be a Viking than be Yasuke the samurai. I honestly, I think that's the truth. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I think that that's kind of the way it would be. So, Lamau, no, why not both? Well, because people are going to have a preference, right? Everybody's going to have a preference. Valhalla was not woke. Yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, it does seem like, I remember when Valhalla came out, there was no conversation about this kind of stuff back then. And people would bring up stuff like this back in the day too, but it just wasn't as important. And so it does look like Ubisoft, I mean, if you can't see how this is massively problematic, that one of the biggest games that I think they were banking on it being a like blockbuster hit success. Like, let me go ahead and ask and look this up, right? Estimated budget Assassin's Creed Shadows between 250 and 350 million, right? And so if you do and you look at that calculation, and you say it's between 200 and 300 million, right? 350 million. Let's go ahead and look at some numbers here. Let's see what that would be. So if you're selling the game at $70 each, right? Let's say 250 million. How many copies would you need to do it? Well, you'd need to sell 3 million copies, right? Will the game sell 3 million copies? And this is no sales, no cut from Steam, nothing. Just a raw 3 million copies. Will it sell this many? I think maybe it will. I would assume actually it will sell more than 2 million copies. I do, because Veilguard like sold probably 1 million copies, and I think it's more popular than that. So, and then you also have the minus 30% for Steam as well, and then also the cost of the game, etc. Right? And there's other costs that, like and this is the production budget, right? Think about how many commercials you guys have seen recently for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Well, that's not part of this 250 to 350 million. And marketing is a massive cost. So let's go back over. We're going to go ahead and look at, this is apparently Ubisoft. Ubisoft has fucked up with this so bad that the Japanese Prime Minister is talking about it. We're going to go ahead and look at, apparently Ubisoft. Ubisoft has fucked up with this so bad that the Japanese Prime Minister is talking about it. It's being discussed in their parliament. Oh my God.
Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba is not happy about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let's watch this.
この今言ういわゆる朝栗問題ということについてお伺いしたいんですが
Did you hear that? He said Asakuri issue, meaning we Japanese keep on talking about this all the time.
Yeah.
So Asakuri issue, he didn't explain about Asakuri issue, right? Because everyone knows.
Oh, so he's basically what he's saying is that it's so well known he doesn't even need to explain it. Yeah, okay.
3月20日にですね、発売予定のフランスの UBI ソフトの株式会社制作の
Okay, well this also kills my theory that it was actually them discussing live streaming, because he's discussing Assassin's Creed explicitly, right? So it actually wasn't about live streaming. This is actually about Assassin's Creed.
このアサシンクリードシャドウ
That's what this is about.
ついてなんですけど、海外の
Overseas though, early gameplay videos already popped up on YouTube. I watched them, and here's what I saw.
That video that went to really viral. And I was surprised that there's a lot of people.
Oh shit. Little F? Yeah, we had a little bit of a hiccup there. Here, let's watch it again. Sorry about that, guys. We'll get back to it.
Yeah, that went to really viral.
Here it is. Oh,
and I
man.
was surprised that...
Bro, he just tore that shit
video
up.
that
One more
went
time.
to really viral. And
Bro,
I
he
was
went in on
surprised
that shit.
There's a lot of people who think
There it
that's
is.
okay. I think most of people doesn't know that's that shrine in the altar. I guess, but a lot of Japanese people feel offended about that video.
イタテフォーズシュラインと実名で私の兵庫県の姫路市の 入間の国奏者板手氷津神社が登場します。ゲームの中でですね、主人公の
The main
侍は
character smash on drums. In the shrine. It's like priests. It's set up so you can commit these.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Chief priest. Not once to the shrine. Maybe we're getting commission. That's what he said. Place was like. Oh, I forgot.
One of the pre-order bonuses for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Family
With the Emperor's seal on it. Oh, robbing Imperial. In Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's an ancestor of the Emperor in Japan. So, it's the tomb of Emperor, an ancestor of the So, yeah, there it is.
Of the current Imperial family are up for grabs. You can steal it. Earliest I get it. It's perfectly challenge to have him tear ass.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Yeah, so that's what's being referred Prime Minister.
This is just kind of insider note. I know something that sent me this video. They didn't use just can't talk about it that detail, but something really scared concerns me. It's that there's an unspoken rule. You cannot cause other trouble to other ministries. I heard they can't use word of Yasuke here. If you're Japanese, I think this is one of the biggest concern. And they decided to not to mention about Yasuke.
Okay.
That's what they told me. But my concern is that which ministry get trouble if they use word of Yasuke in here? As a Japanese, that's one of the biggest concern. What's going on here?
I mean, I can definitely understand it, and it's kind of like...
Oh, jeez. I'm trying to think of a way to explain what this is kind of like.
It's like you are a soldier in World War II, and... or like somewhere around in that era, and... you're not even from America, but somehow you get sent over to fight in World War II, and there's like a subplot line where you can fuck Eleanor Roosevelt. Really? And that would be pretty fucking weird, wouldn't it? That would be pretty odd. Yeah, that's a lot. Games outwent, yes. It's just a game. It is just a game. The thing is that I know it's just a game, but to me, it's funny. Like, I'm not Japanese, and I think the reason why a lot of people are talking about this is that the premise of the game is set. Basically, like, the game came out and it was released and it was expressed to the public as if it's like, oh, well, it was done almost in like a patronizing way, I think that a lot of people felt, where this game gets made, it gets put out there, it has this storyline that's obviously exaggerated to, like, you know, like a power of fucking 50, right? And then they're trying to, like, virtue signal, basically, with having this stuff in the game, and people find it annoying, right? And so if the story from the very beginning was about a fake character, and, like, for example, I've been playing, as I said before, I've been playing Rise of the Rohirrim. This is a very good game. I really enjoy this game a lot. And they have a historical character, Matthew Perry, in the game. And so Matthew Perry is I think he's from America, I don't remember exactly. And he's from this game, and he is a honorable, reasonable, good guy. And he's not like a stupid, like, I feel like he's respectful in the game, right? And so, because it's like the idea of like colonial Japan, and there's like a bunch of other stuff. So the problem isn't that you're using historical characters. The problem is that you're using historical characters and then making an argument to authority of their authenticity. That's, I think, what really annoyed a lot of people. Does that make sense? That's what annoyed a lot of people. It's like, you're making this argument to authority, like, oh, well, we understand we brought in cultural experts and we're telling you this. That's it. And so it's a Team Ninja game, though, right? Yeah, exactly. And it's disrespectful actions. Yeah, exactly. It's degrading the native characters. Exactly. And so, yeah, to be fair, and I'm not defending Assassin's Creed, the third game makes Washington a villain in the DLC, and no one said it was disrespectful to the rest of the U.S. So the reason why it's not a problem for them to do that, and you also fight the Pope, and it's also not a problem, is because they never presented the game as any form of historical context in a way that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but as soon as Yasuke was announced as a character, everybody was like, what the fuck? There's not even certainty that this guy was a samurai. That's not even what's going to happen. It's also their own culture, and that's another thing too. And so, and this goes into like what I was saying is that in like Western American culture, it's much more okay to make fun of Christianity than like, I'd say Judaism, Islam, or Hinduism, right? And it's not as okay to make fun of those because that's not our culture, right? So like it's very different when you have a culture that's satirizing itself versus a culture that's satirizing and seemingly appropriating another culture. Do you see kind of like how the difference there is? And it's the same thing as like, you know, it's like the implicit thing that you can make racist jokes about your own race. I think this is very, very established, right? I do it all the time about making jokes about white people. Somebody else does that and they're a different skin color. People are going to get mad about it, right? And so, yeah, that's it. And that's, it's trapped. Yeah, exactly. And so that's I think the reason. I think it's the argument to authority that people had. The main reason Japanese are boycotting this game is the foreigner killing Japanese is culturally insulting to them. Really? I thought they just didn't like the combat. No, I don't know. It's not our place to tell another culture what should and shouldn't be offensive. Well, you can do whatever you want. Like, you have the right to make something that's offensive to Japanese people, but you don't have the right to do that and then make the argument to authority that you're doing it and it's historically respectful. You can be disrespectful, but don't go and act like you're not doing that. That's the difference.
政策におきまして、現存する固有名詞等商用利用する際には、その知的財産を有する個人や団体等に許可を得る必要があるものと認識をしております。知的財産を無許諾で利用されているケースにおきましては、個別の事情によるものであるため、どちら間で協議されるものと承知をしております。その上で、神社側等から相談がございましたら、関係省庁と連携しつつ適切に対応してまいりたいというふうに思います。
It's payback for Pearl Harbor? They're French! They weren't even there! That's it. No, they're French. That's not even it. Like, what do you mean?
ただこれありがとうございます。今の答弁ありましたようにですね、やっぱり無許可で使用するということは本当にいけないことだと思いますし、本当にこのことについては私どもしっかりと注視していきたいと思います。それでですね、それに問題まして昨今、コロナ禍の影響もするまして観光客が
Oh boy. Bro, they about to make Japan a private server. Straight up. Yeah. I don't blame them. Honestly, I don't either. I think it's disgraceful. It's absolutely, it's disgraceful the way that people act over there. It really is. It's same with Korea, right?
回復しまして各地で
The over-tourism is causing all sorts of problems. For instance, people climbing on the Shrine Torii gates. Oh wait, that's what I did in Assassin's Creed yesterday. Or scribbling graffiti on shrine pillars. Wait, they've got tourists that are climbing on Torii gates and scribbling graffiti? What the fuck? Tourist misbehavior is turning into a real tourism headache.
That's also something I've been talking about on my channel.
Yeah.
A lot of foreigners who do that. I gotta be honest, just because they think Japanese won't fight back.
That's exactly why they do it, by the way. That's why they don't do it in China. They don't do this in China, they do it in Japan. They don't do this in North Korea, they do it in South Korea. They don't do this in, I don't know, some random village in Africa or some like more developing country in Africa. They're doing it up in Europe, in Sweden or something like that. Yeah, they're not doing this in Dubai. They're not doing this in... I never see them go over to Saudi Arabia and do this. Doesn't happen. Graffiti on concrete is one thing, but Torii gates, I actually think the graffiti is worse. Because it's like, after somebody's off a Torii gate, they're off of it, right? And like, unless they're really fat, it's not going to affect the thing. But like, if you've got graffiti on it, I mean, that's like a permanent print on it. And like, I don't know, like they're both... It's both disrespectful, and as a tourist going to a country, this is outrageous that people would act this way. It's completely disrespectful. It's embarrassing.
Won't say anything. They're taking advantage.
Yes.
As a Japanese, we feel do that because they think.
What's happening? In this game, NPCs, non-player characters, and these real places are used without permission. You can attack them or destroy them. What if that kind of behavior in the game inspired copycat? So like, the reality of it is it's not Assassin's Creed. Treat it like a PvP server, even though it's a PvE server. No, that's not what's happening. It's not Assassin's Creed that's doing that. It's live streamers that are doing it. And I guarantee you that as soon as they saw one person going over to Japan and getting clout and getting their clips posted around for being crazy, a bunch of other people so like it's not a pipeline of like video games to real life behavior. It's really more real life behavior. I don't think it's because to be honest. Like Logan Paul Defender, real. He did it. He apologized. And as far as I know, he never really said or denigrated Japan. Like he did apologize. Like, and the big difference there is that a bunch of these other live streamers never apologized for it. They've never. Do you see what I'm saying? Logan Paul, I think it's fair for you to say people that did this. I think it's fair for you to blame all
それを心配されておりました。もちろんですけど、申し上げたいのは表現の自由というのは
At the same time,
だが一方で
there's this culture
長い間
that's been
地域
nurtured
の方々に
by local communities for ages. We should approach it with respect. Yeah, of course.
その土地の
Disrespecting that culture, that's something I think
行為は私は
need to avoid. Remember that song? Try that in a small town, brother. See, the thing is, like, we have the same thing here. We do. Like, and I think anybody can relate to this. It's outrageous. You're mad. Yeah. I see it as a big deal. Take, for example, something like a place revered and cherished for centuries. Say Notre Dame in France.
イスラム教の
The
コーラ
Quran and Islam.
礼を視するような
Footage showed them
礼
being
をされ
disrespected.
ていたらどんな気持ちに
How do people there feel? Yeah, yeah. People get pissed off about like Islamic depictions, like Muhammad. That's how I see it. Yeah.
総理就任後初のお国入り
Prime Minister on first trip back home.
地元の八頭町の渡り神社を参拝しました石破総理にお伺いしたいんですけども、
I'd like to ask you, with game, social media, and all that,
多文化を
people
軽んじる
disregard the
行為や
cultures
それに
that
伴う
cause tourism related
につ
trouble.
いてご主見を
What's your view
お
on
伺い
it?
したいと思います。
Okay.
石破内閣総理大臣。
So this is the prime. Okay, so now we have the, here we go.
それや文科省が神社に
It's that simple. Prestigious shrine.
It's just happening.
Yeah,
That happened.
it is.
がならない
That's my stand. In the sense of that back in the day,
もちろんイスラ
wasn't
ム
about
教
forcing
信
police
者
on
の
it.
話ではありませんがイスラム
But
教
it's not traditions.
そういうのが発展される人にきちんとお願いをいたしました。例えば料理を
Pan,
全
you're
部
expected to
食べ
finish
ちゃわない
everything or
と
it
い
feels
けない。
rude.
まあ日本では
That's our
み
way.
んな食べないと申し訳ないみたいなことがありますが
Dragon's Dogma 2.
じゃあ、かの国で
If
は
you clean your
全
plate,
部
it
食べ
signals
ちゃ
it
うと
wasn't
足りな
enough.
かった
That's an insult.
とい
Yeah,
う証
you
示なんて
don't.
なん
Might
と
seem
すれ
small,
いうことになる
but
と
the
か
very
ですね
least,
それ表層
respecting a
的なも
country's
のかも
culture.
しれませんが少なくともその
Am I wrong? Yeah.
それに対する尊敬の念を持つということは
That home
それだけで
Here you go. He said that without that respect, diplomacy doesn't work. Ubisoft. Ubisoft? Ubisoft. Listen, this is our just one unknown
criticism of Assassin's Creed Shadows was compartmentalized as if it was racist white people that didn't want to black Japanese people that are still. A lot of these social media virtue signalers don't really know how to approach it because they can't tell a person that they're wrong about their culture because that would go against their retarded beliefs. So they're stuck in this position where they can't really speak out. Even though if it was a white person saying this, they absolutely would. Yeah, they're stuck. Exactly. Like this is a, it's kind of like a, it's like a game bug, right? It's like the bug, right? You found like exploit or something. Am I wrong about this? I don't think I am.
人のことだと思ってそうでなければ外交というのはできないと思っています。我が国としてそういうことを率先垂範していかねばなりませんし、仮にもそういう行為がオーバーツーリズムもそうですが、そういうことがあったら泣き寝入りはしないということを発信していくことは極めて重要だと思います。
I feel relieved, but please do something.
まさに
What they need to do is many of the people that are live streaming in Japan, and you are live streaming should be immediately deported. Like, ironically, it's what people do saying this about people in America. Like, they're like, get them the fuck out. I just want to show you guys, I'm consistent about this. Another fucking country like Japan, from that country, you're starting trouble, get the fuck out. Just really, it's not even a question. How do you even, like, instant support? Yeah. Especially if they're live streaming and doing it, yes. Revoke their passports? Yes, instantaneously.
おっしゃる通りで、まあ、有形の文化とか風習っていうもの
Sad to see how polarized the world's become. This isn't a polarized issue. This is a common sense issue. Every normal person comes to this conclusion. The only people that don't are weirdos on the internet.
ですね。やっぱりこれはお互いがお互い敬意を持ってやらなければ私もいけないと思っております。先ほどの当該ゲームにおいては、まあ日本の
landmarks, they're in there. Used without permission, and you can wreck them.
まあ無許可でしかそういう形で
What about other country stuff? You can't touch it? Well, you could in the other games. Why is it only Japan's?
それはできないようになっている。なぜ日本なの
Why just us? That bugs me.
これもやっぱり私問題
Well, people go to Japan because they're definitely capitalizing on the good nature of Japanese people to not be aggressive towards them.
ですね。この点についても、まあ全てが全てっていう意味ではなく、なぜ日本だけということについても、
Yes. I've got real questions about that.
Yes.
No, I'm not the only one. And on this, going forward,
ですね。なかなか表現の自由と絡めた
Sure, it ties into freedom of expression.
誤った
freedom taken the wrong way, that's not okay with me.
のは私は許される。
It's not that they can't do it. It's that it's disgraceful and bad to do. Like, I mean, live streamers that are committing crimes and harassing people in the public, then yeah, they shouldn't be doing that. But like with Assassin's Creed, I don't think they're trying to make Assassin's Creed illegal. It's just that they don't like the fact that they're doing it that way. I mean, I feel like these are two very big different things.
ますので、ぜひともその点につきましては、経産省
No, and ask the economy ministry. Yeah. Is able to do it, other people are going to do it too.
A lot of people making that way. I was in videos and I saw a lot of comments. I mean, a lot of Japanese racist or liar or this video of Assassin's Creed. Again, Assassin's Creed Shadow. A lot of people in the West think Shadow is actually everyone's small voice can really
Talking to some parliament. That is crazy.
It's not finished yet. You do what you can do. Be there too.
Wow.
Thanks for watching.
I'm gonna link you guys the video.
Video about
Give it a
Japan
like.
to see more videos.
That is so this is problematic to Japanese folks that they're talking about it in parliament. And I do find it to be like just prime disrespect that you can have Yasuke, who is like not even to be certain a samurai. And it's like people are like unsure about this guy's like place in Japanese history in general. You know, one of the main historians that was about him was completely discredited. And now he's hooking up with the sister of one of the more well-known in history. I feel like that's odd, isn't it? Yeah. And so that's what at the beginning. Yeah, exactly. I know it's the problem is that they argued it from the perspective of being a like authentic, right? Like Yasuke, the entire argument for why Yasuke is a person. And you understand that, like, you make that your argument, and you make the argument that yes, it's okay that we're doing this this because he was a real person. And respect everything else. People are going to think that it's a little bit fucking. So that's what I would think. Yeah, it is just a video game, but I think that people can have an opinion about the video game, right? Of course they can. So that's it. And if you disagree with Japan on this one, well, that's fine, but I don't think that you... If the Japanese people find it to be disrespectful, then you can't really tell them that they're wrong. Like, I don't think that, like, Assassin's Creed has to, like... The thing is that you can do one of two things. You can make a video game that's respectful, making an honest effort to portray it in a way that's respectful and you know, like, those people, or a bullshit game, right? And that's fine, but don't make a bullshit game and then try to act like a respectful game. And I think that's so reasonable. It's so completely reasonable. Yes, you can do what you want to do, but don't be surprised if some people don't like it over there. And if they keep making things woke, I might have to end up going outside for once in a while to search for normalcy. POC Samurai rewrites history, Zentopi topples Japanese evil patriarchy with his swing and his gay non-binary friends. Oh my fucking god. Put a chick in it, make her gay and lame. Japan should sue Ubisoft. Maybe, right? Check the wiki. Oichi, Nobunaga's sister and possible romance for Yasuke, is regarded as a symbol of an honorable woman in Japan. She's also commonly known for honorable conduct, beauty, and determination. Someone who, albeit married for political reasons, genuinely loved her husband and known to be both faithful and dutiful wife. Well, now she's married to Yasuke. There it is. Wow.
Outdoor diners, beware. This surveillance video shows what's starting to look like a pattern of armed robberies at outside restaurants. Police are trying to figure out whether the holdups are connected.
So a new disturbing trend in New York's ever-evolving sea of crime has emerged. And even though police have no leads since the crooks targeting these restaurants all escaped on mopeds, this is the type of crime that happens so quickly and is so easy to pull off that experts say it's only going to get worse.
The thieves are demanding watches, wallets, and cell phones.
Jesus. The video we're talking about shows men moving around a dining table and scaring people.
Investigators say one of them had a gun, another had a knife. Police say they got away with $200 in cash from the register and 5 iPhones from customers.
Bro, what's crazy about this is, like, they're not even trying to hide their fucking face. He's just like, yeah, it's me. Yeah.
iPhones from customers.
They're using crimes of opportunity where they're just basically grabbing purses or handbags off chairs and running out.
Surveillance video shows a man toting a gun. He's demanding customers here to hand over their watches and wallets. Detectives are now looking into whether or not the same men robbed customers at Carbone in Lower Manhattan.
Is there one thing in particular that you think is leading to this?
Well, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of the laws that have been passed that have basically tied the hands of the police.
Officers in what? Now required to record the race, age, and gender of anyone they approach.
It slows officers.
Why? That's so stupid. Who does this?
Down from going to a scene immediately.
Overall robberies are up 5% citywide compared to the same time frame last June.
Oh my god. These are not targeting New York City's restaurants. Yeah.
If you go out to eat in this city, your waiter might be replaced with a robber. Now, the police say they're not sure if these incidents are related, but what nobody's talking about is that all of these incidents are related to the fact that this city does not punish crime. And here, if you steal under $1,000 worth of stuff from any store in town, you'll suffer no consequences because that's...
Why? Why not just put him in jail? I don't even understand this. It doesn't make sense. Why would you? It's so easy. There's no space, then make another jail. But Asmon, they're people? No, they're not. They're thieves. No, there's no way. You don't put up. We can't put up with this. How do you let this happen? How do people vote for this?
Misdemeanor, which has created a huge problem because for the last year, stores like Macy's have been getting robbed regularly, which is like...
if you're down bad so much that you are stealing out of Macy's, bro, this is like, you know, they have these at Walmart for like fucking a hair dye. Nobody voted for this? Well, they need to vote whoever voted for it in or out.
Getting robbed regularly, which is why everything inside is now chained to the store itself. And what this means is thieves need easier targets to steal from.
Yeah.
And our money-hungry crooks, they're not looking at stores anymore. Oh no, now they're setting their sights upon the rest of us as we chow down on bagels in the middle of the West Village. Because our phones, wallets, and handbags make us walking dollar signs to these thieves who might even...
Can you carry a gun in New York? No, why not? Because I feel like that's what they should do. Just let people carry a gun. Then somebody tries to rob them, just shoot them. What's the problem? Legally is a different question. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna happen. They already have guns. Have you seen the videos? They're already using the guns.
They're just regular people.
Yeah.
Not just at restaurants, but also at the grocery store or even on the subway, which itself is no stranger to violence. It's more like a military because of the high levels of police doing that and the presence of the which brings us to the
Yep, that's right.
reason why we've now got a crime wave up off ground targeting restaurants just like this. There simply aren't enough police to keep us all safe at once. In fact, New York City as it did back in the
90s. And the police officer is like, all right, one of you is getting arrested. Who's it gonna be? Come on, I know there's a reason for, like, who's off parole? Somebody's got a gun, drugs. Come on, let's get this done. I got a quota. Let's come on forward. Yep.
Over 1 million people since then, which is a recipe for perpetual crime. Because when all the crime underground started, every available resource was sent down there to stop it, leaving all of us up here utterly defenseless. Easy pickings for criminals who can steal everything we have in seconds.
Well, I mean, the reason why they're defenseless is because they can't carry a gun. Like, that's the reason why it's happening. What are we talking about? Like, yeah, you don't say. Yeah, it's not even a question. Yeah, exactly. But guns kill people? That's the point. Duh. You can carry, you just need a license? Oh, okay. Well, as long as you can carry, that's a good idea.
So here we are at Carbone, a famous restaurant in New York's West Village where thugs recently targeted its patrons who were eating outside. Now, this place has a high-end reputation. It was started in 2013.
I'm sick of this. I'm gonna look it up. Can you carry a gun in public in New York City? Okay. So here we go. All right, now we actually know what's happening. New York prohibits the possession of a loaded handgun outside of the home or place of business without a license. Concealed carry is only legal with a New York pistol license. 16 hours of classroom training. So you can with a license. The Supreme Court ruled on New York City because the way they were not giving out licenses. Wow. Well, I guess now it makes sense.
Celebrities eat here, and a USDA prime porterhouse for two will set you back almost $300. And that's what makes this place an attractive destination for criminals, because they know everyone eating here can afford the food and is probably also dressed to impress.
The video we're talking about shows men moving around a dining table outside, and apparently they're demanding cash, they're demanding wallets. Detectives are now looking into whether or not the same men robbed customers at Carbone in Lower Manhattan.
Jesus.
Allegedly stealing a $100,000 watch. Police believe this could...
So this span of robberies has happened over the last couple of weeks. And before we get into the details of how these criminals operate, as well as the testimony from terrified patrons of all of these places, it's important to understand the one thing in common they all have. First, these are popular places to eat. In fact, so many people want to eat at them that not everybody can fit inside the restaurant. That's why you have these massive outdoor dining sheds.
Well, it's like, no, people do this in games, right? It's like you go outside a dungeon and you find the mobs outside the dungeon if you don't have a raid. Like, no, I mean, I get how it happens. Like, it makes sense. Like, and it's smart. Right? No, that's smart. People did this in Scarlet Monastery. Yeah, exactly. So because there's like only one of them they're not as high level, that you don't have to go inside there. Yeah, no, of course.
The one behind me that is pretty much a restaurant in and of itself. Look, it's got air conditioners and stuff in it, tables inside. The bagel shop down the street has people sitting outside. But the issue is, here you are all by yourself on a public sidewalk in the middle of New York City with no police anywhere in sight. And these restaurants and businesses, they don't have security guards. No, it's just you get your food and you can eat outside if you want to, and that's on you. And this is a safe neighborhood, so it's kind of alarming that incidents like this are taking place here. But once you understand...
that's why it's taking place, because why would you... Like, you don't want to... Why would you want to do it in a PvP area and just get... Like, if you have $200, do you want to work for
utterly distracted. Personal safety. Target people specifically on the street.
Is not on the menu. See the customers before the gunman takes over the
So New York City has a problem right now, and the thieves are riding.
See, the thing is that if they ran away, it'd be no problem. That's what you should be able to do. I think if somebody tries to fucking rob you and they try to take your shit, you should be able to shoot them. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like, because that would make it stop.
Escape so quickly. Now the drivers will wait in the street with the engine running just steps away from where people are sitting, and then the passenger gets off. And in the video that we're looking at here, the passenger was the one who had the weapon, and he went around to each person at that table and asked for their valuables, and then got back on the moped and escaped. Now observers say restaurant crime has a lot in common with the other types of moped crime we're witnessing, where thugs quickly approach.
You can't shoot someone fleeing. In my opinion, if you're stealing somebody's shit and you're running off with it, and somebody shoots you, nice shot. Got him. Rip Bozo.
Unsuspecting New Yorkers as they're walking down the sidewalk, take a valuable, and then ride off into the night. But you see, that type of crime, it's a crime of opportunity, because you have to be on your bike, riding past somebody who looks like someone that you would want to target. But at a restaurant, there's a whole bunch of people sitting outside with their guard down. It's perfect for criminals in a city that's not willing to protect its residents. On top of that, people at a restaurant, they're sitting down, they're on their phone, they can't get up, they can't run away, and they're dressed well most of the time. And no one at any of these places is looking for trouble. And what's sickening about all this is it is the logical progression of unchecked robberies that happen on the street.
Of course this happens,
restaurants aren't even a safe place, which is exactly what witnesses of these events are saying on Reddit. This discussion covers all this, which is exactly...
Gunpoint robbery at Birds of a Feather. Oh my god. Jesus.
What witnesses of these events are saying on Reddit. This discussion covers all the recent restaurant robberies, and one user writes that it all happened so fast, most people weren't even sure what was happening. On top of that, all of these crimes occurred during dining hours, between 6:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. in the evening, which means this crime is different from purse snatchings that happen on sidewalks. These were premeditated attacks, specifically targeting the patrons of expensive, pricey restaurants in expensive, pricey parts of town. The criminals knew what type of customers they were going to encounter in places like this, which is sadly
obviously, like, if you're gonna go after somebody, you're obviously gonna go after the ones that have the most money. Like, if you're one of the robbers, do you want to rob a Gucci store or do you want to rob a thrift store? Fucking duh. Like, of course they're gonna do that.
the very reason these places were pre-selected targets. But just as crimes in places like this look like an escalation over previous types of street-related crime, there's a new escalation that has now started happening with the whole restaurant scene, and it's not happening on the street.
The most recent incident happened here at Birds of a Feather about a week ago. This time, 2 men held up customers dining inside of the restaurant. The men stole cell phones and a watch. Sources tell Ffxiv News.
Look at that. The most recent incident did not happen at a sidewalk seating arrangement. No, it happened inside the restaurant. The thieves just walked in the front door and walked out with everyone's stuff. Which totally makes sense. If you're a criminal and you get away with minor crimes, you're just going to graduate to bigger and better heists. And
well, yeah. I mean, if you can steal $1,000, you're going to try to steal $2,000. And if you can steal $2,000, you're going to try to steal $5,000. Like, duh. Of course. You're leveling up.
We're seeing also the criminals targeting men who have expensive watches. And if you're a thief and you can get your hands on a watch, that's something very small, very pocketable, and very expensive that you can easily resell. Because in this city, we've got as many jewelry exchanges as we have restaurants, and finding a place where you can pawn that thing off won't be a problem. But there's another element to this new pattern of crime that is extremely alarming and makes it something that it's very hard to defend against. Because let's say you're eating over here at this restaurant, or let's say you're inside a nice restaurant. How hard is it to spot someone coming into the restaurant wearing a motorcycle helmet to pick up a delivery order? That is like the most common thing. So these thieves, they can get very close to their intended victims. They can hide in plain sight, blending in with normal.
Well, couldn't they just make it a rule that you can't go inside of the building with any sort of a helmet on at all? Like, that's what I would say. Like, yeah, that's what you do. I mean, it's not even a question, like, any face covering at all.
Restaurant traffic. They're not even patrons at the restaurant. They just show up with their motorcycle
And
gear.
I know that they wouldn't follow it, right? But that's the point. So, like, if you see somebody coming in there, you know automatically, oh, fuck, this is somebody who's not willing to follow the rules. You see what I'm saying?
Like every other delivery driver, and no one blinks. And this gives thieves who are riding an e-bike or a moped the opportunity to hide and bide their time until the exact moment presents itself for them to commit a crime. And even though most restaurants in town have security, how good are these cameras going to be when the thief is wearing a helmet and you can't see their face? And it's incredibly frightening to think that the next time you're having a meal anywhere in New York City, you could be being cased and spied on as you chow down. But there is something the city could do if it really wanted to take this issue seriously and really wanted to put a stop to it. But as you're about to see, the solution to all of this is so logical and so straightforward that it's never gonna happen in this city, and that's something that should not only disappoint all of us, but should frighten us.
What is it?
Because we're all targets.
What's the solution? More police? Yeah, probably. Weren't these the same police that tried to, like, detain some guy from AMP and take pictures next to his Lamborghini? Wasn't this in New York City, too? Yeah, see, they're busy. They're busy, bro. They gotta take pictures next to cars.
Here we have ye old police department. This is the Greenwich precinct, which is responsible for protecting people who were at that restaurant Carbone over in the West Village, but it's about a 15-minute walk. And the sad truth is that New York City just doesn't have enough police to keep everyone safe at once, especially with crime waves taking place in multiple places across the city at the exact same time. Which isn't the kind of thing that matters to anybody until the watch off your wrist is taken when you're out to dinner and you still have to pay the tab because the food ain't free.
We have a staffing crisis going on in the NYPD right now. We lost nearly 3,000 police officers last year to just retirements, police officers leaving the department. Also, we're losing an average of over 200 police officers a month. So by the time we get to that end,
that is absolutely crazy. 200 officers leave the police department every single month. And not only does the police department here have monumental tasks in front of it, this attitude of defunding the police is still with us today. And that's why the numbers in the department...
Defunding the fucking police. Oh my god. Oh boy, here we go.
We aren't able to... Crime waves going on.
First Amendment auto. The reason why they're such sheltered privilege that they've never needed. Like, you know, for them, they live in a place it's homogenous, there's no issue. It's well off, it's all right, there's not a lot of crime.
That's a 75% reduction in a
I mean, if I we got a buff, like, let's go. Let's start.
Yeah. Through the roof because crime becomes more common. Police to respond to first. Getting stolen at a price you find something much more serious. Writing about this is that funding themselves. No. Operations in light of resources from one crime wave to try and deal with another. And what makes this even more frightening is the proliferation of weapons. So not only are the thieves becoming more numerous and
New
more...
York City migrant shelters under scrutiny after accused cop shooter claims gun smuggling chain. Jesus Christ. Maybe this is a mean thing for me to say, but what the fuck are you doing making migrant shelters if you can't even protect the people with the police? Like, what kind of a priority is that? You've got shelters for migrants, and you can't even afford police? How the fuck do you do that? What kind of priorities is that? It's insane.
Emboldened, they're also becoming more heavily armed week by week. And you know how they're smuggling the guns into shelters? They're using delivery bags like this one right here. Apparently the shelters have metal detectors, but they're not actually scanning to see what's coming in the food packages. Does that mean there's a direct connection between all of this crime and the asylum crisis? Well, no, not necessarily, but it does mean there's a direct connection between the apparati that are supposed to keep us safe falling apart and increased crime. And the reason this disaster is unfolding upon us is not only because the police are short-handed, it's also because our laws force them to fight crime with one hand tied behind their backs. And the latest example of all this is the How Many Stops Act, which is now in effect in New York.
Officers are now required to record the race, age, and gender of anyone they approach.
This is really something special, man. This is amazing. Wow. Wow.
Okay, now critics say that this is essentially a paperwork requirement that slows down law enforcement when we need more law enforcement faster, not less law enforcement slower. But proponents say having police record this information is important to make sure that law enforcement is happening in a fair manner for everyone. Now, whether or not you think
can't you just do that with a body cam? Like, I mean, I feel like, yeah, it's important to know that, but like, if somebody's committing a fucking crime, it doesn't matter what they are. Like, yeah, don't you have a body cam? What the fuck?
This policy's a good
idea.
idea.
Body cam doesn't capture age? Yeah, but neither can a person. You can't capture somebody's age one-to-one. Like, there's no way.
Is besides the point, because in a city with a short-handed police department, you've got to pick and choose what things you have your limited resources do. And the more time police spend using apps on their phones, the less time they have to stop crime. And as we just heard, many departments are short-handed right now, and if they've only got 2 patrol cars on the street and one of those patrol cars is busy filling out apps on their phone, there won't be enough cops to keep people safe.
Former NYPD Lieutenant Darren Porcher is concerned about delayed response time and the data itself. We reached out to the NYPD for a response. A spokesperson says the department has put in place policies, training, and technology to comply with the law. Officers will be using forms on...
Now, of course, this is just
here's the thing, though, right? Is like the people in New York probably voted for this, or they voted for the person who voted for this. So, like, at a certain point, I don't really feel that bad for them. Because, like, you wanted this. This is what you get. That's right, it's their fault. Yeah, that's right, I'll do it again. Yeah, you chose this. And so don't go crying about it, because this is what it is. You made it happen, they did it to yourself. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, yeah, defund the police, well, it worked. There you go. Or they're uninformed, yeah, then they're just stupid. But these people move out, then they vote for the same shit somewhere else. Yeah, I know.
An example of a law that might hamstring police in the event of an emergency. But the thing that's crazy about this is all information, all of this demographic information, it would all be available in the event of an arrest. This applies to people who the police stop in a normal interaction. For example, if the police come out of the bomb squad department over here and they want to talk to me and it's an official stop, they're gonna have to put my information to the best of their ability into this new system, which will be publicly available, apparently. But then the question becomes, if I'm not arrested for anything and there's no suspicion of guilt and I haven't committed a crime, what is the ultimate value of that? And there are fears that activists will use that information.
Well, the implication is that the reason why they have it is that there's basically a assumption that people that are minorities and part of others, like protected groups get stopped more often. So I assume that this practice is supposed to quantify whether that's happening or not. That's clearly why it's happening. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I think that's the reasoning.
To further scrutinize our short-staffed NYPD, which could lead to more investigations that lead nowhere and more oversight that is unwarranted in a time of increasing crime.
I also worry that there's just a general mentality, a lack of appreciation for police officers.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So ultimately, there's nothing wrong with a system that increases the transparency at which a public institution like the NYPD does its job. That's a good thing. It will help keep the city safe. But the problem is, the resources to do it aren't included with the plan that says it needs to get done. And right now, the police resources that we have are stretched so thin that the moment there's a crime wave in one part of the city, it pulls the resources over here, and then another crime wave pops up over here because the criminals saw an opening. Do you see what's happening? The police are playing whack-a-mole with our crime waves. That's why they're impossible to stamp out. That's why we went from having a crime wave in the subway below where I'm standing to a crime wave up here at our restaurants. And you know what?
I think you know what that proves, though, is that police presence reduces crime. Because I bet now in the subways there's a lot less bad shit that's happening. It's because people don't want to fuck around whenever there's 3 police officers standing there. It's a huge deterrent. And I know that people like to act like, oh, no, it's not. People are going to commit crime anyway. No, they won't. Trust me. People absolutely, with all crimes, 90%, probably 99% of criminals make a... They make they make a balance judgment. Is it worth it for me to commit this crime? That's why and these people that are like robbers, they're not robbing police officers. Because there's a high chance they're not going to win the outcome. They're not just doing this. They're making educated decisions based off of the highest possible opportunity versus the lowest possible risk. You say
once they get rid of this,
risk-reward assessment.
Crime is going to go right back into the subway. That's perfect. They always do their job fairly. But the law the restaurant between us and with a weapon and try to take our belongings and possibly harm us. And that's very frightening. It's very frightening to think that of the people who are supposed to have our back. What course it's going to lead to crime waves is... How would you fund in New York, or are they funding? Let me know what you're saying. Next video.
The problem is professionally, and they don't get disciplined in a way that is comprehensive. People aren't that mad about it. They don't get pissed off about it that much. It happens all the time. And so people don't get it. And then guess what happens? Well, then that's Like, let's be honest. Then everybody sees that and they say, well, I fucking hate cops. Because, like, for example, I saw a cop were arresting this person. One of the cops just, like, straight up punched him in the face. Let me see if I can... fuck. No, I just tried to search it on YouTube. It seems like... But, yeah, it happened. Like, of course, it's not like that. It's just, you know, unlawful authority. Like, am I crazy? Like, y'all... That dude, should be taken off. It's not even funny. The problem is that you have this weird thing where there are police officers that's the norm, right? That's not every single yeah, I don't know. Checks on the majority of people. Yeah, exactly. So, doing suspension. Crazy shit that happens in New York, it really is no surprise that Gotham City is based off of New York. I mean, New York's turned into a PvP server.
2 people in custody tonight after the Ffxiv district pawn shop. The 2 men have been buying stolen luxury items from South American theft groups and then reselling them at their stores.
So the owners of this store right here are in FBI custody for allegedly working with a South American robbery crew to sell stolen items. Wow. Which were taken from the homes of professional individuals all across America. And immigrants residing in the U.S. illegally, living out
man. Isn't that nice?
The American dream is the alleged element of an American business.
Four Chilean nationals questioned by authorities last month in Ohio.
Orlando, wrong way.
Everybody knows. In our country, nobody's blaming you.
The Jensen and Randall are accused by federal prosecutors of regularly serving explosives in South American pawn shop later Tuesday. I'm trying to break into the house right now. My daughter is there. This is Joe.
$300,000 luxury items, glasses, piles of cash.
Jesus! These are wait, and they're taking photos of it. What is with all the self-snitching?
Alleged gangbangers also posed wearing the NFL star's JB9.
No way, they take a photo. It's kind of a power move. At a certain level, I like, yeah, I mean, it's self-snitching, yeah, but it's a power move. Now, it's like, it's not a good power move, but it is.
I feel like it's been violated in more ways than one.
Tuesday, investigators
stolen a storage facility in sports memorabilia and that are commonly
Midtown Manhattan. So what?
Back to the self-snitching. Yeah, it is. It's not so much a power move. It's just system.
What he's talking about is this criminal gangs, businesses that look here legitimate and with one of these taken out. Experienced an astronomical rise in moped-related snatches in the last 2 years. And 8,000 supplies to be attacked with criminals steal watches, purses, bags, and other valuables
Which is, it makes sense. Right? I mean, like, if you're gonna go, like, farm a dungeon that doesn't have an it makes sense. But it's just crazy to begin with, right?
Thugs approached restaurants forcing them to put their Rolexes in speeding off without getting caught. But it doesn't stop there. The city also saw a rise in robberies in Central Park and in Midtown by Times Square. And when you combine those with the out-of-control shoplifting epidemic we're experiencing, a troubling picture starts to emerge of a city with so many illegally stolen items that they're now being sold locally as to the real reason why this bust is so important. It is a highly profitable industry that, when combined with New York City,
before about how, like, the businesses that are, like, enabling to get fined for it. Because, like, not only but they're making money. They're making money off of these they're enabling this entire city status as a magnet to bring the world to our city, where we not only allow them to hide from the federal government while we live in taxpayer-funded homes, but the opportunity to be the worst versions of themselves, all thanks to New York's decriminalization of petty theft and assault, which, as you're about to see, has created a product stolen from the law in broad daylight. Of the business stolen property, and it's part of Midtown on 47th. We buy, we pawn. You sure do. Diamonds? Yeah. Not my wife's engagement. They sure do. Not at this place. The area full of businesses that have been here for decades, but hiding in plain sight criminal operations.
Prosecutors say the men were the sale of countless pieces across the United States by South American theft groups. The two were allegedly the middlemen, buying the loot from the thieves and selling it at their store. A customer of the pawn shop.
So what's unbelievable about this is that the store on the upper floors here, they're paying thousands of dollars a month to be right here in the middle of Manhattan, but they're selling stolen items from all across the country.
Well, that's why they can pay $1,000. They're buying stolen. That's how. Steal stuff. That's new. That are nationals from another country that are illegally here and is unwilling to prosecute or go after them or even investigate the problem. This is a massive unforced error that doesn't need to happen, and it doesn't, like, there's no reason.
Before we get into this wild story, criminals was able to understand that this collusion nothing new in America's largest city, which is home to over 4 million people who are illegally residing in the United States, which creates a big problem. creating an opportunity for these people or to team up with criminal gangs and then prey upon the rest of society.
A gang of Chilean. $5 million Ohio stars.
These guys that were running right here. But they knew exactly what and this might not be the first celebrity's home. And they race these guys.
Well, they are kind of stupid because they're taking photos of it, but they're not. They're calculated.
However, the FBI said celebrity home invasions were being sold out of this particular business. The full extent to how those items got revealed by prosecutors. But the thing that's odd about this robbery is that these guys had no problem taking pictures and showing off all their people. This was their first time committing this sort of crime. Or they've done so many home invasions and successful raids that they figured nothing was going to happen.
It's shit that you start yourself with things or things stuff you stole or there's always a level of like pride. There's like some friend that you have that like used to be cautious and then they stopped being cautious and then they got. Every fucking time that happens.
They were invincible, and the amount of money they were making probably made them feel unstoppable.
Someone is trying to break into the house right now. My daughter is there. This is Jim Burrow's house.
Investigators say the two men are linked to a nationwide burglary ring targeting the homes of high-profile professional athletes. That includes Kansas City Chiefs stars, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, NBA stars.
So what happened here is absolutely wild, and the details are incredibly shocking. Not just how the goods were stolen from this person's home, who did the stealing, and how they were offloaded right here, but this is not the only business in town which apparently has a no questions asked policy when it comes to buying things that walk in the door from people who might be criminals. In fact, everything that can be stolen,
like a very beneficial policy for them,
gets stolen and resold here. You've got bodegas selling stolen food, clothing stores selling stolen items from places like Macy's, and if you're curious about how these gangs these people, well, there's a whole bunch of stores here that buy valuables that it might be secondhand. These criminals could literally have just gone up and down the block with a briefcase full of stuff, showing it to people until they found a willing accomplice. And the crazy thing is, it looks like they would have gotten away with their heist if they hadn't done something really stupid.
Body camera footage showing 4 Chilean nationals being questioned by authorities last month in Ohio.
Where are you guys headed to today? Orlando? Wrong way. Florida's that way.
The man in the front passenger seat wearing a Cincinnati Bengals beanie, Burrow's team, and in the trunk, a Louis Vuitton bag.
How are you going to wear his hat? You're going to break into his house wearing his hat. That is a level of disrespect. Oh my God.
A shirt from LSU, where Burrow played.
A traffic stop. These guys were brought down by bad driving. Their car was full of stolen belongings, and the officer asked them where they were going, and they said, "Oh, we're going to Florida." And the officer's like, "Guys, Florida's that way." And this is crazy. They had $300,000 worth of valuables from this guy's home. The homeowner...
What a bunch of retards. And how'd they even get pulled over? I bet they're probably speeding. They had a headlight. Like, how do you, if you're driving with a bunch of stuff that you shouldn't have in the car, you need to be, bro, you have to be checking every tail light, making sure every, like, inspection is there. Like, if they're not going to just randomly pull you over usually, right? Like, and also another thing is that you're, because, like, this is on the highway, right? And so if you're on the highway, that means you let a cop run up behind you and run your plates, because that's how they get you. Is that they go up behind you, the police cars have a plate reader, the plate reader hits the numbers, it says, uh-oh, look at this, and that's it. So the fake plate, they don't have fake plates, right? Exactly. And so anyway, stolen vehicle maybe? Then that's really wrong. That's crazy stupid. If you've got a stolen vehicle, you're doing that. So like, this is insane. Yeah, you gotta be checking all the lights. Exactly, like you can't even get that straight. It's embarrassing.
Assigned to a 5-year, $275.
You never let a cop pull up behind you like that. You always go to another lane, take an exit off. If they're coming up behind you, you gotta go to like do something, slow down, speed up, do something where they don't get behind you and leave your fucking plates. Fucking obviously. How do you not think like that?
$1 million contract, which had a $40 million signing bonus, so he's incredibly wealthy.
And apparently his home had security guards there, but these guys got in when the shift changed, revealing an incredibly high level of sophistication to this raid. And apparently they had planned this out in advance. They did not just show up, break the window, and steal whatever they could find, not knowing whose it was. Yeah. Apparently, the authorities found photos of the home in question on their cell phones that were taken prior to the break-in.
And then they discovered something else that tied them to the owners of this business right here.
There were 4 men arrested for that, and
you can have the phones. Like, I mean, you can buy a phone for $50. You can buy a smartphone for $50. Like,
federal prosecutors, one of the defendants, Ffxiv, his cell phone is connected to 2 men who were arrested in that case. So that was the connection to a girl on there, still trying to sort it all the victims. And
I'm talking about like a burner. I'm not talking flip phone. I'm talking about like a fucking, like you can buy a smartphone for $50. You can buy a good smartphone for $50. You can do that right now at Walmart. You can buy it with cash. You don't have to give an ID or anything. This is embarrassing. Well, how do you get caught? Well, good is debatable. No, it's a high quality.
identify the property in this case.
Wow, I think it's either a Samsung or there's a, I think it's just mobile. I think it's actually Samsung. It's open.
That is way more than some casual relationship. The people who ran this business were in direct contact with this gang that was out robbing celebrities' homes. And that could mean one of two things. It could mean that the owners of this business have the cell phone numbers of a lot of people who bring them expensive stuff.
After all, there's a lot of businesses on this street that have rare and expensive things. And the last thing you want is for your customer to be standing outside your front door with a briefcase full of this stuff in New York City. It would be incredibly bad for business if one of your customers was followed and tracked down while making a delivery. And if you're headed to a New York City pawn shop or jewelry exchange and you get there and the door's locked, that could be a big problem.
So maybe the cell phone connection, not that big of a deal. Or it could mean that these guys were in cahoots and they were in contact with these criminals as
so
they were.
They're doing the transactions at the business? They don't even care. Bro, they don't even give a fuck. Like, this is embarrassing. How is this? Oh my god. Max level efficiency? It is. It's super. I don't understand. This is crazy. Price is 15 years. Your face on the half.
Premeditating which homes they were going to hit up.
Only time will tell, however, if a business gets busted reselling knowingly stolen merch, which they may have helped the criminals steal, they could be going away for a long time.
But even if they do, as we touched on earlier, the criminal element that is stealing all of this wealth is still going to be out there, which means the opportunity to profit from the sale of all those stolen.
Well, if they're doing business with these individuals and they're not doing proper vetting of the things that they're buying, that means that they're the ones who are really benefiting from these illegals being in the country. Like, these illegals obviously get money out of it, etc., but they're getting peanuts compared to what these pawn shops and these other places are getting. They're the ones, like, they're the Kia boys, right? They steal Kia for $50, or someone takes the Kia, robs a bank, and they make 10 grand. That's really the people making the big money. As long as you know the cashier, they'll leave without signing. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that I don't know enough about pawn shop. I thought you had to sign something if you sell something to them that's over a certain amount of value. Is that not true? You do, yeah, because it's like over $1,000, right? It depends on the state. You do in Texas. Right. That's what I thought. You have to give ID, yes. It's over $100.
Well, items will still be there as well, and the opportunity to make money supplying these criminals with the one thing they need to do their dirty work, that's not going anywhere either.
That's a tax one.
So criminals, gang members, thugs, there's a lot of people like that living in New York right now. And they need to arm themselves, get up in the morning, and go about doing what they're here to do. Which creates an opportunity for people in possession of things that are banned to sell them and make a lot of money because they've got a lot of customers who need those things to go about accosting others, stealing, robbing, home invading, etc. And sadly, this criminal opportunity has attracted people to New York who are just the absolute worst of the worst.
These are some of the worst criminals suspected Tren de Aragua gang members, allegedly making money selling guns on the streets of the city. But they had no clue they were selling to undercover NYPD officers.
Wow. When Trump said they're not sending their best, I didn't know how right he was. I didn't even understand. That's incredible.
Police commissioner.
So in New York, you've got so many criminals that one gang can make money arming other gangs who make money using those things, stealing and exploiting the rest of the city. And apparently this recent gang bust saw 10 members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua all busted for selling weapons. And apparently these criminals had quite an arsenal of fully automatic devices, and they were also in the United States without permission. But apparently they were making money supplying New York's growing criminal underworld.
Which is stupid. Like, why would you even have an automatic weapon to begin with? Like, unless you're fighting other gangs, you're never going to need that. You're breaking into houses that nobody's there in the first place. It's just stupid.
With the tools of its trade. And they only came here because this is a sanctuary city with soft on crime laws and a defunded police force. Something that's pretty obvious to see when you look at the statistics around moped crime and how it's exploded here. With snatch and grab robberies in this city going from non-existent to a daily occurrence. But apparently arming an ever-growing population of criminals here locally wasn't enough for these guys, and they were exporting their operations to other states.
Kat says their criminal activity includes other crimes reaching further than the city.
And including Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, Colorado.
When confronted during a buy and bust operation, the NYPD says the gang members put up a fight. Still, detectives.
So these guys, apparently, they didn't want to go down without a fight. The police knew coming into this that these were violent criminals. But it gets...
That's crazy. They're actually going to go against the police, too. Jesus. Hey, Texas, were you a supporter? No, bro, like, absolutely not. Like, I don't support this shit at all.
Even worse, because look at this. One of the guys that they took down has prior arrests for weapon possession.
Wait, so he has prior arrests, but I thought he wasn't supposed to be here.
Now that's incredibly serious. Weapons are no joke here. You're not even allowed to have them in certain parts of town. And if you get caught with an illegal one, that's a felony, which is supposed to come with prison time. Yet this guy somehow still had his freedom. He was living life as a criminal.
Be dangerous. We got signs all over Midtown where I'm at right now
saying... Didn't they read the sign where it said you're not supposed to have a gun? You're telling me he didn't listen to the sign? What the hell is this?
You can't have weapons, yet when people get caught with them, nothing happens to them. That's why you've got people.
But they have the thing with like the gun, and then there's a circle around it with a line over it that says no. You don't need to read it.
That are here selling them illegally. And that's why you've got people that are using them to commit crime all over town. And apparently also in other parts of the country where they're invading the homes of wealth.
I think that he was just breaking the law intentionally. I think that he didn't respect the law. I think that's the truth. He didn't care what the signs said.
Rob them and then sell whatever they stole on the streets of New York.
Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is a violent gang from Venezuela. On social media, police say they display their criminal enterprise and how they're expanding day by day here in the city.
They come here almost exclusively to commit and engage in criminality.
So there you have it. These gangs, these criminals, they didn't get here by accident. No, they came here because this is the perfect place to...
It would logically make sense, right? Because, like, there's not a lot of... Like, I would assume that a lot of the, like, agriculture jobs would be, like, much further down south. Like, New York is fucking cold. There's snow here. So, like, what job are you gonna do? So you're gonna come into America. You're probably coming through Mexico. Like, I mean, maybe not, right? But in a lot of cases, I would assume through Mexico. And you're coming in here. Like, and you go all the way to New York. Like, bro, you're going there to do something specific. Crime tourism? Yeah, exactly. Canada too? Yeah, but like, it would make sense that more people would be coming from Mexico. But you're right, Canada, of course, is going to have some.
Do what they want to do. And based on what our country's learned about some of these gangs, like this Tren de Aragua, everyone should have seen this coming. Because this one group in particular, they are human exploiters. It underpins every single crime they're involved in. And asylum seekers in New York City.
I find the most incredible thing to me about this, above everything, is the fact that it's done so brazenly with absolutely no consideration of like, am I going to get in trouble or not? That's what's so shocking to me about this. It's that it's not that it's happening, of course it's happening, but that people are doing it in plain sight and they don't even care. Like, they don't give a shit. Like, they're just doing it. That's how it is in South America? I don't know about that. People actually defend this? I don't know.
There's reported being approached by gang members demanding that they join their gang and start committing crimes. Saying no would result in someone being branded an outsider. A fate nobody living in a government-funded homeless shelter that bans police from entering wants, because in these places the only morals come from the criminals that have taken them over. And of course these aren't the only criminals that have come here because of what New York City...
You can't expect the migrants to hold each other accountable. It's not their job. Number one, it's the police's job, and number two, it's like, yeah, if they get taken over by, like, I don't really in a lot of places like fault the citizens for like having extremism inside of their country, because the extremists, if you don't cooperate with them, they'll kill you, right? I mean, that's, of course they're gonna do that.
People get away with. We've got this theft ring of criminals from Chile who were here to do business and sell things to corrupt establishments that have a legitimate presence in this city. And we know that terror watch list suspects were apprehended at the U.S. southern border over the last few years and then disappeared into the country. This is incredibly frightening. And all of this crime and lawlessness is enabled by sanctuary city policies that bar the police here from cooperating with ICE. And when you stack on top of that,
oh my God. How do people put up with this shit? This is shocking.
At our lax justice system. This entire place is just a playground for criminals to learn and perfect a trade they should never be engaged in the first place. What do you think about that? Are New York City's rules the reason we've got budding criminal empires sprouting up all over the place here? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Adam 20. I cannot fucking believe that people put up with this bullshit. How do people put up with this? It's a PvP server, yes. It's shocking. Chile is the only South American country currently within a visa waiver program where technically they allow criminals to enter illegally as tourists. Now an entire country is at risk to lose its benefit because some losers think they can outsmart the police. Well, none of this would have been a problem if the police were able to go after them in the first place. And that's the issue. It's that, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of guys from Chile who probably want to come to the U.S. and there's no problems, right? It's not an issue. I think that's probably the majority. But you've got a couple of problem boys doing this, and now everybody's losing their fucking mind. Yeah, crypto scams or migrant burglaries, pick one. I would rather crypto scams, because everybody knows a crypto scam, nobody opts into a burglary. So I know this is like question, but nobody should ask. But to the extent that you ask, that's the answer. That's what I think. Can't these in the Cold War era? I don't even know. I have no idea. Why would it take fingerprints of any person? Yeah, I don't know. In Democrats, that they can talk about the dissonance that goes on with this, that it's shocking to me that it's even happening. It really is. It's amazing for me to see this. And I should tweet this at Trump. Yeah, I should. Somebody needs to figure this shit out. It's embarrassing, man. It really is. And I can't believe that people in New York, there's enough people in New York that are okay with this, that it's going. Yeah, it's insane. Bro, why? Criminals, smart criminals? Yeah, exactly. And Trump would love to go after NYC. I think they should. I mean, I think they should go after, like, any of these, like, sanctuary cities things. I think it's outrageous that it's even a reality. It even exists in the first place, right? Like, I do. I think it's ridiculous. People like AOC I just can't see how you can defend this kind of stuff other than bad. Sanctuary cities should be unconstitutional. I am. Can't the federal government do something? I don't think so, but I'm not sure. As my Nuxnor video about Hassan today was insane. I haven't seen that. Yeah, I have no idea. Remember the AOC clip saying that they are shocked at bread? This is the thing, is that, like, it's a then the person that's selling needs to make the money on their own. So stealing their and now nobody has any fucking bread. So it doesn't work. If it's somebody else, then it magically appears. There's no bread, and you just have more bread to grow out of it, and that's it. I mean, if you're stealing people's groceries, then I think it's a problem too. Or buy ingredients to make bread, and then, yeah, then nobody can get any? Yeah, exactly. Well, you've never been hungry, that's all? You cannot, like, I don't fault people for stealing. Like, whenever you need to make a living and you need to survive, I'm not going to tell somebody that they should die. But what I am going to say is that you cannot exist in a society that allows people to steal things. Both things are true. It is true that, of course, I would not fault somebody for acting in a way that it ensures their survival. Of course not. But you also can't allow this to happen as a default either. Yeah, emotional argument and beast. Yeah, of course it is, right? I mean, what else could you possibly expect? And are people seriously comparing stealing Louis Vuitton with survival? What the fuck is this conversation? Well, even if you're stealing food, it's still a problem. And also, in a lot of cases, like, there's a bunch of food banks here in Austin that you can get food from. And so if you really need food, in a lot of cases, there are places that will provide you food for free. So if food is the problem, then I think that that's probably not why you're stealing in a lot of cases. Now, the big problem is things like diapers and baby formula. Like, that's the kind of stuff that is like, it's a necessity, but at the same time, it's not always provided for free. So it's not even really food, it's things like that, for example. In Austin, oh, I'm sure it's the same probably in New York, too. New York's a pretty liberal city, same as Austin is, right? So, yeah. Bro, a month ago we talked about if murder is bad or not, and now we're talking about if stealing is bad. Well, a lot of people think that it's okay to do things that are bad to people, as long as the people that they don't like are having it happen to them. That's generally the mindset that a lot of people have. It's an unfortunate mindset, but it's become very prevalent over the years. 39 stores are leaving New York City. Dude, is this video real? Like, what the hell? 39 stores are leaving New York City because of theft?
The NYPD is looking for several suspects in a drugstore burglary pattern.
Police say these suspects were involved in 8 different incidents where they tried to break into pharmacies by breaking their glass doors or rolling down those heavy security.
That would make sense.
Great, just what we need, a new robbery pattern targeting pharmacies in New York, many of which are having problems staying open. With Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid closing a combined 40 locations in 2024 alone, leaving New York with about half the number of pharmacies it had just 10 years ago. Before our leaders thought it would be a good idea to stop sending thieves to jail, where they belong.
We've spoken to several managers at various drugstores around New York City. Though none would go on camera, all tell us they've seen an increase in thefts.
Millions of dollars in stolen goods seized in Queens and put on display to the cameras.
There's this huge problem that people think that it's okay to steal shit. And they view it's like I think that there's like a huge difference between somebody stealing like diapers and somebody stealing like fake eyelashes. I do. I think it's totally different, right? Like cosmetics, yeah. What is this? A TV, yeah. No, what about piracy? Piracy isn't good, but there's no zero-sum environment. Like, theoretically, everybody could have a copy of, I don't know, Gladiator, and it wouldn't affect anybody's copy of Gladiator. So it's totally different situation. Piracy's totally different.
The thieves had an eye for cosmetics, beauty products, designer clothing, and accessories.
Yeah, we're not talking about stealing, like, milk and diapers. Baby formula.
The shoplifting concerns are part of a growing trend in the city, but due to current laws, many of those arrested were released back on the streets to do it again.
This man just came
I love how, like,
a whole bunch of makeup.
I love how they have catch and release. You know, the only other time I've ever heard of the word catch and release with the term is with what is this?
That was on security trying to stop him, but he was already gone.
Rafael and Sean Martez have been getting their prescriptions filled at this Walgreens for at least a year. Shoplifting played a role in the store's closure.
They have him locked up because and steal their stuff.
Booster.
Here, these plexiglass screens and all these other inconveniences creates additional friction, and friction is the death of retail.
It's like nothing is being done.
So do you feel like it's getting bolder?
Yes, it definitely is getting bolder.
I would say that having to speak to an employee to get something out of a shelf is a huge deterrent for me wanting to shop at that store. I honestly, the reason why I don't want to talk to a lot of people, I just want to go to the store and I want to get something, and it's really annoying. It wastes my time. It's inconvenient. I don't want to interact with anybody. That's it. So American? Really? I mean, I don't know. I feel like and I think also there's like the component of it where there's like an implicit expectation that you're a thief. And so I think that people don't like, maybe I'm the only person that feels this way. I think people don't like that you're like pre-categorized as a person who would have been a thief, basically.
So, nearly half of New York City's drugstores have disappeared over the last decade as retail theft continues running rampant.
But what nobody's talking about is all of the pharmacy closures that are happening 1 year after our leaders promised to get tough. Promise many businesses are still waiting for them to keep.
And sadly, if you walk through any pharmacy in town, you'll be greeted with all the signs that the high crime environment afflicting our stores is here to stay. With location.
Yeah, we have this at Walmart. Like you have, I mean, now they got underwear behind these things. Like I told that story about underwear 2 or 3 times. I'm not going to tell it again, but like, I mean, it's hair coloring and underwear. That's it.
Throughout New York, locking up their products because here we won't lock up our criminals.
Because stealing here's been decriminalized, making New York a breeding ground for professional criminals who take things that aren't theirs and then sell them on the internet or on the side of the street somewhere.
Targeting illegal retail arbitrage businesses that will exist as long as shoplifting here remains a non.
It's also a good point is that when somebody steals something and then they resell it, that also takes away, like, effectively 2 sales from the company. Because, like, if you buy it from somebody who stole it, well, not only did the person take the inventory away from you, you also didn't secure another sale as well. It's really bad.
Available misdemeanor, provided it's peaceful shoplifting that doesn't escalate to a physical altercation with another person, as for some reason our criminal sympathizer leaders don't think destroying security barriers or cutting security tags counts as violent behavior.
And that brings us to the real reason why New York is losing so many pharmacies, leaving many neighborhoods without...
I don't know how you could say that's not violent behavior. Anytime that you destroy or alter property in a way that's malicious, it's obviously violence. Like, I would say that, like, I mean, don't you define violence by, like, it's basically malicious physical action, right? Yeah. Behavior involving physical force intended to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. Not an object? No, it's a